Hi everyone. This is probably going to be one of the most important videos I can shoot in relation to the mindset and how our mind works in cricket. So as a batsman, have you ever got yourself out and thought to yourself, why did I play that shot? I'm much better than that. Well, what I'm going to share with you now will probably solve about 90% of those issues. We all talk about the mindset, and the greats of cricket talk about the mindset and how important it is to cricket and to the success that you have. But what no one talks about is how the mind actually works. Now, once you figure that out, and once I go through that today, it's going to actually open up to you why goal setting works, why affirmations work, why visualization works. But until you actually understand how your mind works, you're just going to keep running in the same spot. You're not going to actually have any improvements. So it's understanding how the mind works. So let me break it down for you. There are three parts to the mind: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and you've probably heard about those. The third one probably isn't talked about a lot, but it's probably one of the key aspects of understanding how the mind works, and it's called the creative subconscious mind. The first is the conscious mind. This is your focus and your logic. This is the part that says, watch the ball. Now, the problem with the conscious mind is it's slow. It freezes up. And playing cricket, you don't have time, as a batsman, you don't have time to consciously take everything in and make decisions. Next is the subconscious mind. This runs the show. This stores every habit, every belief, every experience you've had is stored in your subconscious mind. That's why when a bowler comes in and bowls a bouncer, you flinch. Your subconscious has activated automatically and you're able to get out of the way. If you were to consciously think about that, you would get hit. It's as simple as that. And thirdly is the creative subconscious mind. This is the one that nobody really talks about. This is designed to keep you in line with your beliefs, even your deep-seated beliefs. Its job is to keep you safe. If you deep down believe that you stuff up under pressure, your creative subconscious mind will do exactly what it's designed to do, to keep you in line with what you believe about yourself. As I said before, deep-seated beliefs. I had this belief about my ability as a cricket player, and that all came from a young age. And that's where beliefs are actually formed, in your younger years. And the challenge we have with beliefs is that as we grow older, those beliefs sometimes don't grow with us or don't change with us. Yet, they actually run our lives. And it's sad sometimes. It's really sad. So it's really sad. So I had this belief about myself as a cricketer, and that was a guy who could bat a bit, but was an incredible fieldsman. And that's the belief I had. And that came from my on-field performances. I'd take a spectacular catch, I'd create a good run out, and I'd even hear opposition players say, hey, watch that guy, he's got a really good arm. And how did that make me feel? It just confirmed my belief about myself as a fieldsman. But then when I went out to bat, I'd only make 20 runs, 30 runs, and then get myself out. Because my belief about my ability was that I was an incredible fieldsman and a guy who could bat a bit. Now, we trialled out for a schoolboys match or schoolboys team in Ballarat, and we fielded first. And I remember I took a spectacular catch, created a run out, threw down the stumps. And at the end of the innings, my team manager and coach came up to me and said, hey, Damien, look, we're just going to drop you down the order. You've just fielded your way into the team. We just want to take a look at some of the other batsmen. Bang. There you go. That just confirmed incredible fieldsman and a guy who could bat a bit. And something also to add, I remember my father saying this to me. He said, Damien, if a coach or a captain are picking a team, they will pick the best fielder every day of the week. And what I mean by that is if you've got a group of, say, a couple of batsmen who are all on the same level, but one of them is an outstanding fielder, that person will get picked every single time. Because as a batsman, you could go out at any ball, but as a fielder, you can create run-outs, stop runs. Batsmen will not hit it to you because they think you're a great fieldsman, got a good arm. So you're saving runs in the field as well. And that's the belief I had right up until my senior cricket, when I was exposed to this information in my early 20s, and I put it to practice in cricket. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And I've since used it in other areas of my life. And I'll share those along the journey that we have. But I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the change and the belief that it had in me. And it can in you as well. It can be done. It takes time and it takes some effort. And it takes consistency. But if you really want to change, this stuff works. It really does. I was lucky to go back, understand all this information, rewire my beliefs, and in turn, I was making 50s and 100s. Never ever experienced anything like that before. But that's the power of the mind. And until you understand how it actually works, you're just going to keep running in the same spot, not really progressing anywhere. Your performances will marry up with what you believe about yourself. So if you're stuck in a cycle of bad form, nervousness, inconsistency, it's not that you're not tough enough. It's not that you're not good enough. It comes down to what you actually believe about yourself. I remember an article many, many years ago, Pat Rafter, the famous Australian tennis player. Now, Pat won 2 US Opens and was runner-up in one Wimbledon final, may have been 2, but in one. I watched that one, actually. And I remember reading an article, and he said that he didn't believe that he was at that level. I mean, back in those days, he was playing against, I think, Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi. So that's elite company. He didn't believe that he was at that level until he was into the semi-finals and then won the US Open. He believed that he was at that level. And his performances on the court reflected that. Amazing in the mind shift of how that was. That's why mindset isn't about motivation. It's about awareness and repetition and rewiring the mind with your beliefs. So to really start and progress with your cricket, you need to really look at yourself internally as to what beliefs you have. You need to start by asking, who's running the show now? Who's actually running the show? What beliefs do you have that are now affecting your performances on the field? Your brain is wired to keep you safe. That's its job. That's what it's designed to do. You look at everything you've done in your life and you'll agree that it comes down to what you believe about yourself. And that's not just when you're younger. That's actually when you're older as well. I still do that today sometimes. You've got to start by asking yourself, what beliefs do you have that are currently running your life? And if they're not helping you or serving you well, you got to change them. And you can change them. It's just understanding how you do that. And that's what I do in my mini courses and mentoring, is help cricketers with their mindset. I don't deal with skills or anything like that. I specifically work on the mindset. You've got coaches that can help you with all of that. There's plenty of YouTube videos as well, all on techniques and things like that. But I don't know too many videos that actually really talk about the mindset and how it affects you on the cricket field. Look, if you never get an opportunity to work with me, just understand this. Once you identify the real root belief that you have about your ability, and if it's not serving you, you need to rewire that. Because if you don't, you're just going to keep hitting the same wall. You're going to keep getting the same results. The key is changing your beliefs. Check out my website, thecenturyclub.com.au. You'll find mini courses there, but you'll also find a mini course that's free. So it's called the Triple Mind Mastery. It goes into more depth about what we've talked about here in the video. But look, you need to understand how your mind works, first and foremost. Before you even start goal setting, before you even start visualization, writing affirmations, because until you get a grasp of how your mind works, you're not going to make the progress that you really want to make. It's that simple. It really is. So if this helped, chuck a comment below and share the video with someone that you think could really benefit from it. Bye for now.